I've got a live button here.
1. We should be live now, but Nick, some of this technology really it foxes me. But I think we are
overload.
We are live on Facebook Live. So hi, my name is Philip Oakley from Outside Web, and today I'm joined by Nick Langley from Langley Foxall. And if I just flash this up on screen, Nick is the app guru.
Excellent.
Do you see that app guru, the bit of red?
I can see it, yeah, I can see it, and it's red. It's all its glory. It's nice.
I'll take it off just so we can see your chin, which is probably a good thing.
Right here, then? Is this where it's coming up?
Again, I'll put it up for everyone else to see. But if I put the text up, so everyone in your office now is watching you, laughing at you.
So if I just goes,
you're hanging on it now. Yeah.
Excellent. Okay, I like it.
Well, I will take it off because it's down there. I think we should warn anybody who's crazy enough to log in live to Facebook to see us chat. I think we chatted for about 10 minutes beforehand, which was probably the most interesting things we're going to say to each other has already passed.
Yeah, we're talking about mouth guitars. Yeah,
yeah, harmonicas, and whether, and whether the coaches outside your office are going to create more entertainment than we are.
Yes, yeah, which I think they might do. So if we just swivel the camera halfway through this, then yeah, you'll have more interesting conversation, I think. But yeah.
So no, it's not. I'm aiming for about 20 minutes if the technology hangs together, Nick, and really want to get out some good stuff from you because you are the app guru. And I'll be biased, and I'm always interested. I'm interested in technology. I'm interested in all apps, but particularly interested in why a business should be looking in having an app in 2017. And as you know, I'm really interested in professional services and the benefits that apps can bring to them. So, what's the hot stuff at the moment, Nick?
Excellent. Well, we've been doing an awful lot of sort of business back-end apps. These are apps that sort of automate your business. So this is really hot in 2017 at the moment. I mean, that is what we're doing. When we're talking about professional service, I know you want to stitch it together with the general data protection regulation, so the GDPR. So I mean, what we do is we build a back-end system that's sat behind sort of an encrypted login authentication. And it allows you to go about your business day in a very safe environment. So that's kind of where we're going at the moment. So these systems, I mean, they sort of integrate with apps as well. So if you've got a workforce on the go, then yeah, that's what we're doing. That's what we're creating every day. That's pretty cool.
You've just hit some of my hot spots straight away there. Obviously, people don't know the GDPR is the very exciting data protection regulations that are coming in May next year, and a big part of that seems to be that we're going to really have to look at how we transfer data between us and clients and contacts and prospects, and a lot of that data needs to be done in an encrypted form. And without getting too geeky, most people's email, nearly everybody's email, is not encrypted.
No.
And so I'm talking to accountants now who are thinking, I can't send a pay slip, I can't send a tax return. So could you see some of these apps could be used as sort of near enough encrypted portals, or? Yeah,
no, definitely. I think either apps or web-based systems can be easily transformed into something that they can use. I mean, I think what will end up happening is you'll end up receiving an email or a push notification, and you'll be sent to a portal to actually log in. So you'll be safe behind your encrypted authentication. So yeah, I mean, I see it's going to be huge. I mean, especially with Xero. Xero is pushing the sort of leading the way with accountants in the app form. So I think Capsule as well. Have they got an app at the moment? Capsule got one?
They have got an app. Yeah, you can have an app on Android and iPhone. And again, talking about CRM systems, there's systems that are full of personal data, which are going to be affected by data protection. So people are going to need to know what data they've got, where they've got it, why they've got it.
This is it. And also putting in the procedures to handle it, to say that they're using it or storing it in the correct manner. I think a lot of businesses are going to struggle with this.
Yeah, I think the other two requirements are, one, when anybody comes to you and says, what data do you hold on me? You're going to then have to pass that all over to them, and hopefully that'll be easy. And of course, if the client requests and you have no requirement to keep the data, you should then you should be able to delete it quickly and easily.
Yeah, that's right. It's got a name, hasn't it? I'm just trying to think of it. It's the right to erasure, is it? That's not your Erasure, the band, but that is.
they spoke about this with Google, this right to be forgotten.
That's
so
right.
That if you've done something dodgy on a Friday night out, and someone takes a photo of you, you should have the right to be forgotten.
Forever branded on Google with your night out shenanigans. Yeah. So, so I think that was actually I think it was actually a lawsuit, wasn't it, over in Spain? It's actually part of the reason that came into fruition. Was something to do with I can't remember the case, but it was something to do with defaulting on property, or I can't remember the exact circumstances. But this guy's name, Spanish guy's name, basically had come out in a newspaper article, and every time he Googled himself, he was Googling himself a lot apparently. All that would come up was this news article, and this news article would fill the front page. And he basically said to Google, "Can you remove this information, because it's damaging, my sort of personal profile?" And Google went back to him and said, "No, we're Google. We just show, we're just the link between the two. So we aren't the data source." And I think Google ended up having some court case with their data protection, with the Spanish data protection agency, and they ended up losing. So that's why if you do some Googling and you end up seeing data protection on a Google search, that's exactly why. So there you go.
Yeah, I don't think Google have had a lot of luck with the European courts.
No.
I think they've just been fined billions for favouring their own products in their own Google search, which seems a little ironic, but there you go. Yeah, I just go back on that point. Someone mentioned to me the other day that they had an email from a financial planner who effectively the email was saying you've got an email, but it's over here in our secure portal. So do you think we're going to get a lot more of that? Email will just become a notification system of us having an email in a different system.
Yeah, well, I think that is going to be the way forward. At the end of the day, it's all about gathering all these what we call data pools and putting them into a data lake. So it's centralizing all this information, and that's the other thing that these systems will do. So you won't have bits of information. You won't have documents sat on your email. You won't have documents that are on a pen drive that you've lost under your desk. You won't have all this. What it'll be centralized, and accountants, solicitors, they will have this centralized information, and you'll just be able to go and access it. I think that's the important thing here. Not only that, but you're also behind the encryption, so you're safe, and your information is safe as well.
Oh, go on, Nick. Go on, explain this then. Data pools and data lakes.
It's something that we use when sort of describing what we do, which is getting all the different bits of software that people end up using, and bringing it into one piece of software that's sort of like, I don't know, one ring to rule them all, I suppose, is the term. But what we end up seeing is that people end up having bits of documentation. They end up having it like they had their filing systems. What they have is pools of information dotted around the place, whether that be Capsule, Zero. I know these two things integrate, so they're doing a fantastic job of bringing that data together and creating a data lake. There's a lot of people out there that are using CRMs that don't integrate with their accounts, and so they've got two sets of information. Great one being something like, I don't know, systems like Pegasus or Sage. Sage and Act are, notoriously difficult to talk to each other, even though they shouldn't be, because they're owned by the same company, or at least were. So yeah, there's a lot, when we go into businesses, we see a lot of the time repetition of data. And that's all because they've just got different pools around that are each doing their own individual jobs that, aren't aware of each other. And it's about creating that awareness and having them all talking, I suppose. So
are you going into businesses, Nick, and seeing people with Sage and Pegasus, and is there solutions that you can do to sort of help them?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the time, Sage is Sage and Pegasus they're fantastic systems. They're great for what they're designed to do. Accounting on a massive scale. But we do go into a lot of small SMEs and find these systems in there, and really they're just overkill. And they don't talk to anything. They're quite difficult to navigate, and really there are different solutions out there. I mean, us ourselves, we use Zero. only because it's an easy system to use. It's something that we can integrate with as well, which can save us a shed load of time.
Oh yeah, if you know anyone, Nick, who's on Sage or Pegasus or any other software that moves to zero, you just let us know. Yeah, we'll dip round there with our 600 add-ons. I'm still going to go back to this encrypted email, because someone's mentioned to me the other day is the future then of most businesses communicating with their clients through WhatsApp? Because obviously WhatsApp is end-to-end encryption, isn't it?
This is correct. Yeah, I mean, end-to-end encryption. There is a time and a place for that. I'm not sure whether it will go as far as that. I don't think email is going to be around for forever anyway. In itself, I think there are better ways of communicating. We're big advocates of Slack. Yeah, we use WhatsApp. All of these different sort of channels of information, but I think email really it's a dinosaur that's still somehow living in our century. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot better solutions. At least now we're getting a lot of apps out here, sort of client-side mail providers that we can use and actually, try and make email exciting again. But it's never going to be, and it's never going to be that secure.
As you probably know, Nick, I'm a massive fan of Slack. I think it's fantastic. Obviously, people who don't know, Slack is sort of a bit like an internal corporate Twitter, but far more, and its integration option as well. So how are you using Slack? Is it just internally for your team, or? Right,
yeah. So we use Slack for it's just chatting between the team. I mean, in some respects, Slack is good internally. It's fantastic if you're in another room. But what you can do is you can have that sort of disassociation. You want to still get up and have conversations with people. That's just being a human being. But we use Slack actually for some of our systems that we use to actually, when we're actually developing applications, we've integrated sort of bots with Slack so that we get notifications through Slack as well. So we can actually push notifications. Like we've got one set up at the moment for like an emailing system that basically when our sales process, we've got the process, and as it goes through this process, it's actually slacking us and basically telling us, right, it's got to this process, this is the email you need to send to this person. It's fantastic. It's like having someone telling you what to do, but they're not really real, but it's fantastic. It's a good bot. Yeah.
And do you think that's the future then, more sort of I wouldn't go as far as say artificial intelligence, but more bots, more automation?
Yeah, I think
things coming in to help us.
Definitely, I think chatbots. I think that's something that's really interesting. That sort of I'm sat on the sidelines looking at, and we're watching that really closely because I can definitely see chatbots being the way forward, possibly even overtaking apps further down the line. Why have 10 apps when you can have one app and have a conversation with that app? And achieve the same things you're doing just by tactiling, touching, and swiping. You can have a conversation with it. So even there's banking apps that are looking at it. I think is it Santander that's looking at a chatbot where you can actually do your banking through the chatbot, which sounds insane, but it's a messenger service. So you'll be able to message the bank and literally text them and say, I want to log in, and then they'll come back and say, what's your password? Ping your password in. Again, this is all encrypted because you'll be doing it through WhatsApp. And basically you can say, right, you can literally text them and say, how much is in my bank account? And it's all about channeling intent. It's all about intents and conversation. And so basically it works out what you're trying to say and channels you down the right direction and takes you to what you want to know. And you can even do actions and all sorts of things with chatbots. So, yeah.
So again, maybe another example, can you see the future where maybe an accountant has a chat bot, and so the client comes on and has a conversation with the chat bot along the line, when's my tax return due, what information is outstanding, how much tax do I owe?
People want to have a conversation. They want to achieve things with conversation. And that's just us as natural sort of human beings. We want to be able to, we want to be able to converse. And I think it's a much more it feels like a much more personal service, but whether you go down, whether it's a bit of an uncanny valley situation when it actually does come out, uncanny valley is where the AI is almost a bit creepy. It's almost a bit too realistic, but it's still a bot, and so it becomes a bit creepy, and so you don't want to use it. So I think we've got to get over that curve with chatbots first, but yeah, you could offer a really personal service, and you can have conversation with the clients, get them right down to the right route and to the right place that they want to be, whether that's literally contacting you still, or whether that's getting their year-end accounts, whatever that may be. Even getting advice, you could get advice through a chatbot as well. So it's quite an interesting thing, I think. Definitely.
Have you looked at sort of the Amazon Alexa type devices, which again they seem to be want to be the lake, and then adding other skills, so you can add an app essentially onto Alexa, and then it now has that skill and it can talk to you about that thing.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think this is why we're getting a bit revved up for what Apple are going to release. I think that's going to be quite interesting to see what they release and how they're going to release it. They're on about releasing a similar sort of thing to Alexa, and in an iOS format. The thing that will give Apple the advantage is not the price that it's going to come with, because I'm sure it's going to come with a hefty price, but it will be the App Store that comes behind it, and that regulated App Store that's done so well, has done so well for app developers and for Apple, because they make a fortune off the App Store, an absolute fortune.
And do you think Amazon have got a slight jump ahead just with the work that they've been doing, or Apple can just really catch up quite quickly?
Yeah, I think that I think the actual AI, the technology's there. I think the software's there, both parties. I think the intent of the two is actually different. Amazon's intent is to sell. That's what they are. Their interaction is about selling. So it's about, what can we provide this user and what can we sell them? Apple, this is physical products. Apple is more to do with sort of the intangible products, I think. So there'll be more to do with, right, what apps can we fit on here? What intangible products can we make this person buy or get? So I think they'll have two very different angles of attack.
I suppose the way it's going as well, though, is I think obviously not too big around here, but basically talk to Alexa. You can order yourself an Uber taxi.
Yeah. And
of course, again, Apple big with the Uber app. They're all going to want to do the same thing. They want to be that interface to that, essentially that app or even that chatbot.
Yeah.
But for anything that you want, and obviously you've got the Google Home as well. But again, I think Amazon Alexa reckons she's got 15,000 skills at the moment and adding about 1,000 skills a month. And I think the Google Home is about 368. But
this is where I think Amazon have definitely got a distinct advantage with that, because at the moment, iOS, you can't access information on third-party apps. You can't access that information through Siri currently. So unless they're planning on making, what we call Siri kit as developers, which is the kit that we get to, work with, unless they're going to have some big announcement with Siri kit and allow us to access third-party applications through Siri and, perhaps through this new Apple products, then I think they're going to have definitely a distinct disadvantage against Amazon. Because you won't be able to through it.
But that would be a game changer, wouldn't it? If they open up Siri to the app world, just a bit like they did all those years ago with the App Store. It just that they could get the jump on a lot of people. And presumably, Android and Google do the same thing, where they open up their Google Home interface into that, and of course, then we can hopefully forget about Microsoft and Cortana, can we? And that's just there for shutting down your Windows PC or something. I don't know.
That's it. Yeah. Changing your cursor speed or whatever.
Yeah. Whatever Cortana does on those Windows boxes. I have an opening Outlook to read email that isn't going to be of any use in the future.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think I agree definitely. Yeah.
Well, we've got a few minutes, or just a couple of minutes before sort of that time. So I'm going to go for you for some app recommendations. What new apps have you found? What apps are floating your boat at the moment?
What have we got? Okay, so we at the moment we really love Polymail. So Polymail is I'm going to talk about email because why not? Polymail is client side sort of. Way to deal with your emails. It's a mail client basically, but it's a really nice tactile mail client. It's all to do with gestures. You can add actions to gestures on there, and it's just a really nice way of dealing with your email. And it's nice to be able to get down to a zeroed inbox. That's getting everything, and you're clicking done on all your messages, You get down to a little zeroed inbox and you get a little congratulations at the end, which is nice. So you feel like you've accomplished something, which is good. So yeah, we're loving Polymail at the moment, and that is also available on the Mac App Store as well. So so not only can we have it on our iPhones, on our iPads and the Mac, which is nice because there's not a lot of sort of applications that are coming out on all three at the moment. And what we hate as well is people bringing out iPhone apps and not making them scale to iPad. Why would you do that? Why is that a thing? So you have to be on an iPad and sort of navigate a little scaled down iPhone app. That's just crazy.
Yeah, it still isn't a nice experience, is it, using an iPhone app on an iPad? No,
not at all. And as a developer, Apple have made it easier. They've made it easier. So with the introduction of constraints, I think it was about 3 years ago now, it's literally made it a visual way to constrain, artwork, and it's a very sort of visual, much easier than before. Before we had to do it in code, but now it's all done in an actual builder. It's done in the workspace, and it's all very easy to do. So I don't know why you wouldn't make it for iPad and iPhone. It just seems lazy.
Yeah,
That's just my opinion.
Let's get Instagram on an iPad. I think that's one, isn't it? Instagram only exists as an iPhone app and not an iPad app.
Yeah.
So it looks pretty ugly on that. And I suppose Polymail. That was POLY mail.
That's it. Yeah, that's it. Well, one word.
And of course, you no doubt you managed to find something that doesn't work on Android.
Possibly.
you iOS fan.
We burn Android phones when they come in. No, we're only joking. We do have an Android user in the office. No, it's all good.
You would develop Android apps? You develop Android apps as well?
Yeah, no, we do develop Android apps. These aren't cross-platform apps. We do native apps here. So for iOS, that's developing them in a code language called Swift. For Android, that's Java. So yeah, I mean, we even do Windows apps. Would you believe it?
Yeah, say that quietly. For a Windows phone. Are you talking about a Windows phone app?
For Windows Phone. Yeah.
Wow.
There you go.
I suppose somebody has to.
Yeah, somebody has to. It's us.
Yeah, proper cross-platform. Well, we've been again a very geeky Facebook Live, I think, with us this afternoon, Nick. I really thank you for coming on. I no doubt hopefully get another chance in the future, and you can update us on chatbots. I think we're going to be talking about chatbots again.
Yeah,
what we got covered: chatbots, artificial intelligence, and changing data protection rules. We really cover the stuff that's exciting people on a Friday afternoon.
Well, this is it. I mean, we could talk. I don't know. We could go for hours on.
We could
about Tesla. We could talk about self-driving cars. Let's go. I'm ready. Let's stay here for another hour. Come on. I've got the time.
Well, no doubt our conversation will continue, but we'll take it off the broadcast. And say again, I'll try and hit the button slowly so I don't cut us off. So this is goodbye for me and Nick. Thank you very much.
Cheers. Thank you. Is that it? We're still live, Phil.